What's up, guys? This is Nikki from the Bike Minded Podcast, and this episode is brought to you guys by the folks over at Bicycle.com. They're the globe's largest marketplace for used bikes, where you can find over 20,000. You can search from over 20,000, you guys, used and refurbished road, mountain, gravel, you name it, bikes. You can search their marketplace for whatever brand you're looking for. They even deliver a box to your door so that they take all that work out of it for you. So feel free to check out their website. That's BUYCYCLE and use our code BikeMinded to receive 0% seller fees when you sell your bike on their marketplace online. Get your used bike sold so you can get a brand new one. Check it out, guys. Bicycle.com and use the promo code BikeMinded. Now let's get into this episode. What are you laughing at? And I'm like, you have to hear this. And I play it back and it's just, so Nikki just farted so bad and it stinks. It's terrible, you guys. Oh my God. I honestly said to myself, Aaron should do stand-up. I had a moment. I was just like, this girl is spitting fire.
I know, but
about me spitting fire out of my butt. And the funniest part though is that Kelsey looks at me and she just this is how feminist my wife is. She just assumes every woman is telling the truth and everything that any man says is a lie. And so she's like, I can't believe you did that in front of her. And I'm like, babe, you've been married to me for how long? I don't think I've farted around my wife. Maybe like a handful of times. We've been married for a gazillion
on
years.
accident.
Yeah.
Because you doze off to sleep.
You know, stuff happens.
Yes, stuff
You
happens.
fart around your partner.
You do.
Sometimes.
Unless you want to spend your entire relationship extremely
tense. Yeah, exactly.
Tense.
And you don't want to be fake about it. You don't want to fake the funk.
No.
Well, hey guys.
Starting off hot.
We're back. Aaron and Nikki in the studio. Just us today.
Yep.
You let me sample your delicious smoothie today.
I did.
What's in this concoction?
All right, it is.
Besides the LSD that you slipped in there.
Yes, that and the
during
roofie. It's going to be real fun for our listeners. Just some truth serum. Just dropped it right on in there. I like a smoothie, especially when it's triple digits, the way it's been. So I found a recipe and tweaked it a little bit. So this is an Orange Julius. For those of you that grew up in the 80s, Orange Julius swept the country.
Swept the nation.
Swept the nation.
Yes.
At any mall, there were lines for Orange Julius and Sbarro pizza.
Yeah. Now, do you think it's gone away because it had like formaldehyde or something wild in it? It probably had something crazy.
We'll have to look it up. I thought maybe there were some Orange Julius's left in the Midwest somewhere. We'll have to do a Google
I
on
saw
that.
Gunther's the other day. That was another one that was throwback. Gunther's Freeze. It was like
Oh yeah, there's the original Gunther's down on Franklin.
Yeah.
In Sacramento.
That's another one, kind of in the same lane. You know what I mean?
Kinda, but Gunther's is like small family owned. I believe Orange Julius was a mass franchise.
Okay.
You could have franchised in bed, had your own Orange Julius stand.
Still could.
Anyway, not to go on about this for too long. Fresh squeezed orange juice, banana, little bit of frozen mango, some ice, lots of protein powder, little drop of agave, and some creatine. Some creatine.
It's good stuff. I've been taking that as I've been
and some soy. A little soy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soy
like a little creamier.
I've been taking some of the. I never took creatine before. I've been taking it now for like just gym days and stuff, and they say that that helps a lot.
It does. I started experimenting with it. One of my close friends from Los Angeles, her son is 6'5", $120. Very, very, very skinny.
Slenderman.
And he wanted to put on some muscle mass, and I have been in that on that journey myself. So I decided to start taking it to see if it would help, not only from my resistance training, but also my efforts on the bike, long rides, whatever. And I've noticed a difference.
Nice. I love to hear it.
Yeah.
We were just discussing, and I think we talked last time briefly about your potential group ride that you were going to go on, that your man has been trying to get you to go on for quite some time.
Yeah. And I've been pretty transparent on this show. I get a little bit nervous post-injury riding with a group. It's something I used to really enjoy, but I've been, baby steps.
You have to.
You just have to show up. Even if you've never been in a group before, you just have to show up because there's no other way that you're going to learn. Just rip that Band-Aid right off. But my issue with going to the Delta Velo Tuesday rides out of Stockton are I wake up at 3:45 in the morning on Tuesdays. The ride is on Tuesday at 5:30. And for whatever reason, my Tuesdays have just been so booked. So from the moment I wake up, I coach 3 to 4 classes. Then I go and do my regular job running around. So by the time I have to run home, get the bike together, the kit, feed myself, hop into the car, it's an hour commute, give or take. You're showing up not as fresh as you'd like to.
Not crisp. I don't know how you do that late in the day. I
struggle riding later in the day as well.
I have little to no motivation. I'm like first thing in the morning. That's why my bike is still on the trainer back here is I have to get in here early. I get it in, out of the way. We're done for the day.
Such a morning rider myself.
Because, that late day, not to mention here, of course, it's a gazillion degrees, but just so much has happened in your day.
Yep.
Your cup it's down.
And I think that if you bank on, all right, I'm going to do my 4:30, 5 p.m. ride, my 6 p.m. ride, the way that my life goes, there is always something that's going to happen.
Sure.
That's going to stand in the way of that. So it's hard to make that plan later in the day. When you start your day with it, it's
I see the allure in it though. Like pre-kids, I would go out and do some river rides on occasion, and they are fun and they are spicy.
You did the 4 a.m.ers for a while, and now I understand that because that's now been my 3 time a week ride.
Yeah, when you've done like 50 something miles with quite a bit of climbing. And you're done by 8.
That's incredible. It's such a good feeling.
You feel like a superhero.
Already slayed the day.
But to get up at 3:30 to get there it's
a hard crash by about at least 2-3 p.m.
Yeah, even if you're a morning person, 3 anything in the 3s is still not fun. Nobody wakes up at 3 and is like, let's have a good day. It's just no.
Unless you've gone to bed at 5.
Unless you have been up all night and you are on methamphetamines, then you're you've got other problems in that case, I guess.
Yes.
But it's still rough. But you get it. It's like when you've gotten so much done by that time, you feel like you've cheated the universe somehow. You're just like, I have unlocked a whole different time.
Yep.
But you are right. Yeah. Like if you were to do that and like now you get late in the day and it's like it's 4, 5, 6 o'clock. I'm doing bedtime with 2 kids, cooking dinner for them, trying to do all this other shit. Wife's probably mad at me about something that I forgot to do a dozen times. It's a rough evening. I'll put it that way. So it is still a trade-off.
Yeah. So I sat with it yesterday. And Sean had already taken off. He was going to ride his bike to Stockton, and then I was going to go. We were going to do the group ride, and I was going to drive us home. And I was like, my day really isn't going the way I thought. I'm running 45 minutes late. This is going to make me, I'm going to schedule to get home maybe 15 minutes before I have to leave. I was hoping to have a minute to kind of get my head around it, maybe do a quick cat nap.
Yeah.
But he had already left. He was like, this is the Tuesday. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's freaking happening. So I sat with it and I was a bit bummed and angry and anxious. And then I was like, these are the kind of moments that I have to push myself to do because I'm hiking Mount Whitney here in 2 weeks, and I know I'm going to have lots of those moments on the mountain. And every time you defeat that voice in your head that tells you I can't do something, or I'm scared, or this is intimidating, and then you push past that, it's incredible growth.
Changes your trajectory.
Yeah, big time.
Makes your brain go, hey, just because I think this doesn't mean it's the absolute truth or the way something has to go. Big time.
And so, there was about wonderful group of gentlemen. I was the only woman, which is intimidating in itself. It was great. It was a great experience. We, it's about 38 miles with relatively no climbing. It's all flat, but you're hammering winds out there. So it's a really good opportunity to kind of learn how the wind, putting yourself in the optimal draft position, working with the pace line, all of that. And I was pretty proud of myself. I held my own for the first around 18 miles or so, or 15 miles. And then they hit their first sprint point, which they ramped it up. I think on average, they were going like 22 to 25 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. Then they ramped it up and we're going over 30. And that's where your girl dropped off with a handful of other dudes. So we were in a smaller pack behind the main group working together, and Remy dropped back, and I finished strong. I mean, I got a ton of trophies out there.
Nice.
So I don't know. I want to go back. I want to ride with groups more. You can tell that is going to make you so much better as a cyclist, especially if you're not used to putting down a solid effort for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
If you're not a racer, like I'm not.
Oh, it does make you. I mean, that is one reason I really like Bellabrew. And I was going to say, I think you should come out to Bellabrew because there is like, even though, yes, there is like the same, like there are the guys that are going to go balls to the wall and it's going to get crazy. But there's a whole nother separate group that like falls back and they actually take like another sub route that links back up with the whole group. So it's designed to have other groups and they all kind of stick together. So you're not really like left behind. So I think you should try to go out to Bellabrew, because it's not in Stockton for one. True. I mean, that's such a hike. I mean, I understand why Remy wants to do it. He's got a lot of his crew and all that stuff out there, but much more convenient for sure. And yeah, it's like such a kick-ass way to start your weekend with like a semi-competitive, I guess you can call it a race ride. But
yeah, and it's just a different kind of ride when you're working with a group.
Yeah.
And I don't know, again, whoever's listening to this, if you've been wanting to ride with other people but intimidated, it's scary. It really is.
On the surface, it is very scary.
You don't want to be the slowest.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy, but everybody's been that person. Remy was telling me when he first showed up, he's been riding out there since he first started. And he was like, I was on a fixed gear, no helmet. I just showed up and was like, hey guys, I want to ride.
Yeah.
And eventually they were like, yeah, why don't you get yourself a helmet?
Helmets are good.
You're a fast kid. Like you can keep up with us. So he's been riding with them for many, many years. And it was a positive experience overall.
Yeah, we've all, I can sympathize with that. I remember some of my very first group rides were with, back when it was Roseville Cyclery. It's now Mike's Bikes. They bought it out, but it was actually where I first met Matt, former host of the show. But I met him out there, and he was just a mechanic working at Roseville Cyclery, and him and I just kind of became friends. But that's one of the main morals is like I met so many of the people that I know and still visit and link up with and do various things with through these group rides. And that's how I've met so many people through both that ride, whether it's South River ride or it's Coffee Republic, any of these. And depending on where you guys live, there's a bunch of these rides. And some might not fit you so well, right? There might be a ride where it's just like tip of the spear, fittest dudes, and they're very serious. And yes, that might not be the ride for you, but even a lot of the group rides, there's an A and a B group. So like you can go to these rides and they have separate groups, or just feel out wherever you're at, because there's tons of these group rides. Like that Roseville Cycler one was not anywhere near competitive. It was like just a group of like mostly older guys, and I learned at the end of the day, I learned some of the best routes around my local area just because of them. And I took those routes and kind of went on them on my own at times. And so there's a wealth of benefits besides just, hey, I want to be the fastest guy. Because like in every group ride, there's a handful of dudes that are just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like they're so fit, and they're ex-racers or they're sprinters that were like...
Yeah, there was Andres, I think he is a ex-pro who is out there. And a lot of these guys have been crushing it for 20 plus years.
Yeah, big teams and all these, that's where they sharpen their sword too, is out on these group rides. And they're there for the same reason. They're just trying to get that race pace, and it's hard to simulate when you're on your own. You know,
now
you need to be
with
with Bella
Brew, is it 2 and 2? Are you doing the pace line?
There's no pace lining.
Okay.
So there are just 2 sprint points out there, and you'll kind of know because the speed will pick up. But it's bike path is chill. Everybody's chilling. It's not a pace. It's not a pace line. There's just 2, and then 2 will peel off and kind of go around. It's not anything serious. It's a pretty chill pace. But then you kind of cross over the bridge and you get into like Fair Oaks area, and then it's like a little hill, and that hill is like where shit starts getting spicy. Yeah,
I know which one.
So right there, and then you kind of go through winding.
That would be probably
that whole area.
Where Miss Erin would get dropped.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that drop right there, and they kind of ride their own ride from that point forward. I've never stayed back there. This is not like a brag or anything. It's just like I tend to be with that sprint group, and I'm not always near or at the front of it, but I'm always trying to hang on with that group. So I've never fallen back to that, but I do know that there's probably half of the ride that peels off at that point, because it depends on the day. Honestly, sometimes it's not getting that wild, and then sometimes there will be an asshole who just fucking sprints off. A lot of the time it's Remy, and everybody just like goes and chases after, and then it's just a big PP measuring contest. Not to make it male focused, but we've seen, usually there's at least like 1 or 2 women though that are out there on that group.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, at Bella Brew?
Yeah. Yeah. So we've seen quite a few. I mean, sometimes there's not, but yeah, you might get lucky. Get another female out there. But
it's not a make or break. I'm fine.
It's
being
it's honestly like even everybody on that group ride, I can tell you, is at least compared to like no hate on South River Ride, but it is a very serious ride, and those guys tend to like
South River Ride
be trying to prove a lot.
Yes.
And so it's a little less fun. It's a little more serious. People tend to like shout and all kinds of stuff. This ride it gets intense, but it's never that serious. Like everybody's kind of laughing at the end, like, oh, I got the sprint, or blah, blah, blah. Like, good job. Like, it's a lot of like, it's fun. It's fast at times, but it's fun. And the group regathers like halfway through the ride. So after that first sprint point, everybody gathers and waits for everybody. And then we all ride out, and that part's chill again until the last sprint. So there's only 2 points where it's like super spicy.
Did you ever have a time where you regularly went to or attended South River Ride?
No, I went to...
Because that's, again, evening, correct?
Yeah, like before, like many years ago, I honestly wasn't even like really fit enough to be out there. And so I got spit off that ride quite a few times early on. I went mostly for like the Tuesday, like the weekday, like the Tuesday River Ride is what I would do, the evening. And then a lot of Coffee Republic, talk about it. That's a hard ride. That is a like big rollers, long ride, big climbs, and dudes are just, it's not a sprint section. It's just like everybody's motoring at such a pace, and it is like, that's a big kid ride for sure. So, but yeah, I've been all over the place. I've been spit off the back of every group ride there is. Bella Brew, I came to probably my fittest, so I haven't really been spit off that. I've had days where I've done a lot worse than I would want to do. There are days when I've done better than I thought I would do. But all those other ones, South River, Coffee Republic, any of those, I've been completely shit on and just like spit out and just like had no idea where I was going sometimes. So I get the intimidation. Everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through it. But yeah, just feel out. That would be my suggestion. Feel out and find the ride around you that feels right. And maybe you don't even want to do those rides yet. Wait till you feel pretty confident on the bike. But I can tell you, you will learn a shit ton when you start riding in those regularly. And you will come to an event a lot more comfortable being around a bunch of people. Whether that's going out to a gravel ride or what, especially some of these mass start gravel rides, you start with hundreds of, if not thousands of people. It's smart to get in some of these, whatever, group rides, just because you're not like, when you hit someone's shoulder, you don't go, oh, and like freak out.
And it's been a long time since I've talked about this on the pod. One of the very first, I think I had been riding, it was the first few months that Remy and I were together. He was in with Giant, and they offered him the opportunity to go down to headquarters in Thousand Oaks. And their big treat for the weekend was that they brought on this coach who used to work with Lance Armstrong. And he was going to do a group ride with all of us and set up obstacles and do some trainings with us. And mind you, I was also... Remy told me, oh, people can bring their partners. And then when we got there, he was like, pretend like you work at the bike shop. And I was like,
oh, Remy.
Now, I was very newly clipped in. I had been riding before that, but never clipped in. So I'm so nervous, right? I think you remember this story. I was panicking. I talked to my mom in the bathroom, and she was like, you tell everyone you have diarrhea. They'll understand. Like I was going to march out into this group of dudes and be like,
best.
I would love to ride with you guys. Unfortunately, I have
diarrhea. Bye.
She's like, everybody knows how unpleasant that is. So I obviously did not say that. But so this guy, Casey, I think it was his name. He had us riding in the pace line 2x2 through Thousand Oaks. And as we were descending down these big descents, he wanted us to crash our front wheels into one another. And then as you're riding, he's like, reach out and grab the guy next to you and shake him, because he wanted you to get used to that close quarters where you're running into one another in your wheel. And he's like, you have to learn how to keep your body calm, and you're not going to make any big reactions. You're not going to grab the brakes. You're not going to cause an accident. He's like, you need to become proficient at this. So
it's smart. I mean, you watch a lot of, we were just talking about Justin Williams the other day, but those guys, they ride literally with their shoulders touching.
Yeah.
And of course, in crit racing, that's like one thing you really, really need to get comfortable with, because those guys are like squeezing through where like their body literally can't make it. And they have to get so comfortable with that coming into these turns. I mean, it's intense.
Did you happen to watch any Olympic races at all?
No, just clips. I hadn't watched
I don't know if you happen to see, this was not riding in a group, but I know for any of you that watched the Olympics, Tom Pidcock had this. He was battling with this dude for the XC. Yeah. And that was so epic. Sean and I both stood up and we were like, what? That was freaking amazing. It was such a sweet move. But like taking advantage of that tiny little space, that little...
Because Pidcock, were people pissed because Pidcock was like on the inside of a turn, but then like blocked the guy or something?
No, it was weird because the way I remember it is they were making a right turn.
Yeah.
Dude in the front was on the right, the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom took an outside line that was very, very small. I mean, it was real fast. And I don't know why people were mad, because I'm like, they're riding on single track. He's lost his position. He's trying to regain that first place.
I think it was a stealth
I think it was
just the angle.
Move.
Honestly, when you look at it at that angle, it's one thing. But then like
I'm going to look it up.
You see in actuality, I get it when people are making these arguments, like Jasper's finish.
We've talked about this.
We've talked about this.
Yes.
That's one thing. It's another thing in a mountain bike race where like there's rocks and all kinds of heinous shit that's going on. I don't know. I don't know. I love Tom Pidcock. He's the fucking man.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So tell us what's going on with you, homie.
Oh, shit.
Little update. A bike update.
Oh, yes. I did actually do a solo episode going over all this because I didn't want to spend 3/4 of the episode going over it. Oh, we're watching.
Okay, real quick.
Some sort of replay here. Oh, okay. Well, and the dude toppled over.
Thank you.
Yeah, like, whatever. That's not drama. That's mountain biking, baby.
So, yeah,
Where the fuck was he supposed to go?
I mean,
is he supposed to wait for him?
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tom is in the right.
I actually didn't remember that dude crashing his front wheel into a tree. I didn't remember that part. I thought Tom just took that outside line. I thought that was.
There's another moment. I don't think it was that. I think there was another moment that people were really.
Because they switched positions.
Yeah, because there was one turn where I saw, and it was Tom. He was taking the inside. And then the other guy tried to get him around him, and Tom went like wide. And I think people were pissed because he like went too wild.
People were pissed. Big surprise.
Here's the takeaway from the Olympics.
People were pissed.
People were pissed about everything.
People were so people that never watched the Olympics were so invested, streaming it on their phones, watching it in traffic. And I just think it's a testament to how badly people want something positive to focus on that's not necessarily political.
Yeah.
People are done with the fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty neat. I watched a bit, not a ton.
I was really into the breakdancing.
To this, oh God, that poor Australian woman.
Nor.
The dance that broke
the internet.
The internet. I'm
poor
just
lady.
mystified. Where do you think the people that run the Australian Olympic Committee were like, who was on lunch that day?
Why I'm sorry, but why is breakdancing in the Olympics? We've drawn no line. We're just like, we're just going to put everything in the Olympics. Everything.
I mean, not that breakdancing isn't.
I can make an argument for it, but like where I can make an argument for everything.
Yeah.
Why is cyclocross not in the Olympics?
I mean, what's next? Cornhole? Cornhole.
It's going to be next.
Pickleball. Oh, God. Pickleball. You know it.
Yeah, going to have to train my kids to be pickleball champions.
Oh, that would be embarrassing for you.
Bike update.
Yes.
So I did do a whole in-depth with this, and I'm just going to get your opinion about it because I asked the fans last episode. And I just did a solo one because I like to rant about this stuff. And I knew if you and I talked, it's the best and the worst part of both of us. We are all over the place. We're ping pong and we don't get in the depths. And I wanted to get real deep with it. And I want to give people all the info. And so I left them with like a poll, like, what should I do in this situation? So I'll give you the quickie. Canyon's warranting the frame. Great. They have given me a few options. They will replace the frame, but they don't have one in stock, and I have to wait X amount of months, whatever.
You don't know how
It'd
long
be the same exact frame. Yeah. Be the same exact frame.
All right.
I thought they only did bikes. I was wrong. So they do frames. They would replace that frame, no problem. Probably going to be a month or so. Not the end of the world. So that's a solid option. Other option, they reimburse me for everything that is Canyon labeled, like proprietary Canyon shit.
Okay.
Integrated handlebar, stem, frame.
So then you can
fork, all that good stuff. So that they cash you out.
A few thousand.
Roughly like $3,700 for all that stuff. I keep the wheels, I keep the whole group set, I keep whatever. I go and find another frame. I can get a team deal through Giant for a Propel. I could get like an Envy through Matt. There's options, right?
Okay.
That would be the non-Canyon way.
But you're a Canyon boy.
I am kind of a Canyon boy.
All right, keep going.
Keep in mind the last episode I recorded about this question, I was wearing a Canyon hat. I only realized that like 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
So I was making people biased.
Yes.
Subconsciously. And so the other option is and here's kind of a, maybe. They cash me out, period. I still have to destroy my current frame. Like, they require you to like cut it. That's the warranty process. Like, you have to literally hack it up with like a chop saw. So that's something Matt would have to do. I still keep all the proprietary components. They give me the 3,700. They offer me a deeper discount on a brand new bike. That would mean the brand new Aero that just came out. It's still more, right? So like even the cheapest model of the new Aero, roughly, right? I'd have to come out of pocket like, let's say 800 to 1,000. This depends on the discount they're going to give me, which I don't know yet. So
why don't you know the discount?
They offered me an initial discount I wasn't happy with. It wasn't that great. And so I was like
10%.
It was like 15%. Not enough. Not enough. And so I said, and he opened the door up a little bit. He's like, well, I can see if we could get a deeper discount on a new bike, blah, blah. They still don't have them in. I'd still have to roughly wait till the end of this month. Not the end of the world. It's almost cross season. I'm not doing a ton of road stuff. Not a big deal.
So we don't know what the colorway is. We don't know any of that.
The colorways are, they only offer it in like all white with like black lettering is the new Aero color. Or like this weird kind of deep forest green that's kind of like a gray. Not the business. That's just in the model I'd be looking at. I'd get the white one.
Yeah.
It's dope looking. I like it. The model I would probably get for that price has Di2 105, which not the end of the world. I could still swap all my Ultegra stuff on there, sell the 105.
Durr.
So those are my options. What is your opinion? This is where I need that. Like a timer, you know? Yes, we need that sound effect. What are your thoughts? Or take the money, buy a whole mountain of blow, and go to Vegas.
Yeah. Vegas.
Come back to the show and just like hair is all frazzled, my eyes are bloodshot. It was fine.
I think you need to explore your options. Is there another frame out there that you would feel really excited about and satisfied with? Like a new frame that...
On the surface, there's only a couple. Factors I really like, but they're expensive as fuck.
Like more than 3,700?
Yeah. Like I think the frame
Just the frame?
Frame, fork. I'm not sure if it includes...
because that's...
The frame, fork, bar, seat post is like 5,500.
Okay.
The Factor, like Ostro, Vam, whatever, they're like Aero. It's a sick looking bike. That's just like a base color. They do custom paint, all that kind of stuff for an extra fee, blah, blah. I could get that through Matt. He has a Factor deal. Probably not I'd still have to come out of pocket pretty significantly. The Giant Propel is like kind of a question mark because I really like the look of those frames. I think they're sick as shit. And I'd probably get a pretty good deal through the team. So
and this is the last opportunity to snag team deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an option. I'm actually talking to Mike Stewart right now about it. So he's supposed to get back to me, sent me some colors and like availability. So that is a strong option. And that one I actually, depending on the pricing, I may actually walk away with like money in my pocket at the end of that. Potentially. But then, yeah, like I don't have a reason to go away from Canyon. And if I sold that extra group set stuff, I probably wouldn't be out of pocket for the new bike. I just sell the new components and recoup all my money I'd have to spend on it.
And, you know,
I'd have an extra set of wheels potentially.
And frames crack. So this isn't necessarily a testament to the quality of
It's not.
Canyon.
If this was like a crack in some sort of stress spot, it's a seat. I mean, I'm not the smallest climber guy, but like stress from me putting it on the seat would not, I don't think, cause that crack. It was a manufacturer defect that probably started as a little thing and got worse. So I don't hold that against Canyon. And honestly, I hold them in a really high regard because they're warrantying this, no issues. They've been very straightforward. They've communicated with me super well. They've given me plenty of options. They're not like, take this or get fucked, which I think some manufacturers would do that.
If I were you, I hate that I'm this person. I would probably, considering the first and the last option with the giant option in between, knowing who you are, you're going to have to wait either for an exact replacement or the new frame. You're going to have to wait.
Yep.
The only thing is investing the extra money. I say get the new frame. That's what I do.
The new bike, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I would
That's
do.
what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
I
really leaning towards.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? It's a stupid little shit. So the new one has this integrated bar with an integrated like computer mount thing.
Yes.
Stupid.
No,
silly
not
little
stupid.
thing.
It isn't.
And it has
These are
these new bars that you take so you can adjust the width of them.
Yeah.
Or take them off completely and put these new extensions that are like arrow.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this little stuff, I'm just like,
I think that's what you're going to do.
I should do it. And I think I could recoup the money. So I'm waiting. I really hope they come back with like, hey, we can get you 20, 25%. I like it. If they were to come back with that, I'd be like, okay, now we're talking. This is better. This is a better situation.
I feel like that makes more sense with you.
I agree.
I think it's challenging when
you get
have
it. You
a
get it though.
wonderful
It's
bike.
hard. Yeah, it's hard to move away when you're like, why would I though? I don't have a good enough reason. If the Canyon
and this new thing with all their new specs, their new technology, I want to try it.
And if I want to be as strong as Matthew,
I
have to ride a Canyon.
Yeah, you do.
It's like Jordan. He's like my Jordan.
Yep.
When are they going to come out with a what is it? MVDP? But it's like his like Jordan symbol.
Oh, that'd be
and
so
it's
good.
just him like on a bike.
Yes.
It'd be sweet.
Yes.
Anyway, so I appreciate your help in the thought process. We're going to leave it up to speculation. And we'll actually, because we have the video now, I can shock people and we can do like a
reveal.
And I'll put we'll have the bike here.
Still
eventually.
waiting for my bike.
We're
So,
dropping so many of these today.
Trek, again, we spoke about the fact that they had forgotten to include the headmast cover when my new bike came.
They've shipped it by donkey.
Yes, but it's a custom paint job, and it's not your basic paint job. It's a very complicated paint job. So in order to get that piece, they had to interrupt kind of their production line and go and custom paint this headmast cover and get it to me. So that took some weeks. In order to put that piece on, they've got to yank out the cables, refeed them,
and
refeed all the lines.
A local shop doing that?
Yeah, Trek Roseville, and they only have 2 employees roughly.
Wow.
So they've had it for a little bit. I'm so eager to ride it. As much as I love the Madone, even yesterday out on that ride that we went to, the roads out there are just so poorly maintained. They're so rough. And by the end of it, my hands are tingling just from like on that aero frame. So
yeah, I get it. You want to have your steed.
Yeah.
I get it. It's been a while. It has been a while.
Yeah.
To be fair.
So you have this one in the meantime to ride.
I do. I have been riding it on the road quite a bit. A lot less though since I've been hitting the indoor trainer.
Would you have to wait till fall for the new frame?
No, I would wait till so I'm just basing this off the dates roughly that he's telling me, but also what Canyon's site says, which is pretty accurate. I think that their ETA was the 26th of this month. So we're only talking like a couple weeks. The 26th of this month they give you a window to somewhere at the beginning of next month is when that particular build arrives. What I'm assuming would happen is I give those guys the green light, say, this is my plan. They give me some sort of discount code. They need to prove that I have hacked my bike to shit. And then once they receive that,
What if you don't have a hacksaw? You run your car over it. What do you do? What do you do?
chop.
Yeah.
Karate chop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kask is the same way. When you warranty a helmet, you have to send them a picture of the cut strap. Is this our... Oh.
This. Perfect example, guys. I cut the straps right out of this bitch.
It's such a bummer, too.
It's such a bummer. I've had to do it. I guess it was just this one time. The other one was like visibly, absolutely destroyed on the surface.
This is a large, right?
Yes.
You have a massive dome.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I got a big skull.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not a brain, just thickness of the skull.
Yes.
Is what so yeah, they had, this is their process, and it is a liability, right? Like I don't get me wrong, I've thought about it. I was like, fuck, I'll keep that frame and blah blah, and like try, but they don't want you
reselling it.
Yeah, you
to
could
somebody.
sell it
Yep.
on the you could touch it up and like make it look like, oh, it's all great, and then sell it to somebody for.
Yep.
There's a high value on those. You could sell that frame and fork and the whole thing on eBay right now. Like, it'd sell.
Yep.
So, got to do that. Then I would assume that they would provide me with some sort of discount code. I have to purchase that after I receive the check from them for that full amount. I'd have to have Matt pull the parts all off. Again, I don't know if it's different enough. Like, the Shimano 105 Di2, how much different is that from the Ultegra Di2? Like
105 is slightly below, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like I don't know if
I think
it's brand new. Do I have Matt take the full thing apart, put my used Ultegra stuff on there, or do I just sell the used Ultegra stuff and call it a fucking day and walk away?
I mean, I have SRAM Force on my gravel bike, and it's great. It's good. It's good enough, but does it compare to my SRAM Red?
Yeah.
SRAM Red is better. It just is.
Yeah.
The
No,
speed.
I feel it. Yeah, it's what you're used to, right? I guess.
Now on Ultegra, when you want to shift quickly, can you hold the button and it? Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
I don't know if it does that with 105.
I think it's pretty similar. It'd be one of those things if I build it and I feel it and I'm like, I don't like it, I would just.
We'd have to look it up. Is the component itself heavier by 5 grams?
Sure, there's some
like
little.
What's
there's some
the
little thing. It's just a matter of is it worth the pain in the ass to fucking pull the shit? I mean, I don't know.
I just am of that mindset where it's like, if you're gonna do it,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am the dream consumer for anybody in
Hey,
the
let
bike
me tell you,
industry. I'm like, if you're
cyclists,
gonna do it,
we kind of all are.
no half measures.
I agree. And we've talked about this before. Like I was the kid that like I always wanted the nice stuff and I never got it, and now it's like if I'm gonna do the thing, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna get the thing I wanted and do it.
And I feel like
100%.
in our head, all of us are, we're in this, we're working so hard all the time. Sorry, my brain went blank. We're working so hard. You work so hard for your money. You're raising children. You're being a partner. And so when it comes to this thing that brings you joy, it's like, damn it, I deserve that. I want to invest in this thing that I love so much, that occupies so much of my thinking. I don't know. Calling it just a hobby almost doesn't give it enough credit. And I can't really explain it to other people that don't love it in the same
Erin,
way.
We're both spending our spare time sitting here, talking to each other in a room, broadcasting this to other people that are just as crazy as us. So it's clear our scale is a little tipped with, it is more than that. It's what allows me to bring the best version of myself to my family. It is what has made most of my friendships and my community. And so, it is bigger than a hobby.
I guess I would put it in line as somebody that didn't grow up going to church. I feel like it's similar to that in a way where you're connecting with people in a community. You feel supported. You talk, it feels like church to me.
Yeah, it's something we clearly worship.
And no, by no means am I trying to insult anybody and say that bikes can take God's place. I'm not saying that. If
we're just saying we're a cult, and if you want to be a part of this for $9.99 a month, no, just kidding.
Drink this Kool-Aid. Drink it.
It is a cult here.
Yeah.
And you've all been invited, and we will have a gathering at some point.
You know what I think it's time for?
What?
A little hot or not.
Oh, shit. Do we got a hot or not?
It's hot. Oh, that's no. It's hot. Oh, that's no. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot.
No, God! No, God! Please, no! No!
Okay, I've got a good hot or not.
Okay, give it. Give it.
All right, guys. We're going to get around to this.
This is where you started, right here.
All right, we're dropping into hot or not. Okay, have you seen the new Canyon shoes? This is in line with, because we were talking about Canyon. Canyon is making like proprietary, like their own brand of everything, it seems like now.
Wow.
There's a couple things. We can talk about, I guess we're not going to do two different ones of these. Let's go over first. Canyon came out with a shoe, and today I just saw they came out with a helmet.
Okay.
Both. They came out with both. So let's take a look at these shoes first. I've tagged them and everything. It's pulling up my DMs to them. Where are our shoes? Here's a shoe.
Okay.
The Temper. We're watching the promotional video.
Wow.
We'll try to
macro
post the video.
photography. Okay.
Pretty basic.
Looks like an S-Work shoe to me.
Yes. Very minimal all white shoe, which, surprise, everybody wears. Decent looking, like kind of chromed out looking boas. And I like that the liner on the inside is gray and not white, because that always gets sweaty and stanky. So this is the first thing that I saw that they came out with. It's brand new. We can look on their website. I bet you they got like an actual like photos, so we can see some like Canyon comes up immediately because I'm on their website too much. Gear, clothing, shop clothing, shoes. Okay, we've got the Temper CFR road shoes. And they make an off-road shoe.
Okay.
There's your two right there.
What's our price? What's our price on the Canyon
shoe?
I mean, it is
$329.
Okay.
So somewhere in the, upper level shoe.
Okay.
Does look like an S-Works shoe though. Look at that top view with like the little insole.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a meshy. Can we make this bigger? Pinch to zoom. So
interesting.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a bummer
liner.
that the inner part is gray. I would have said go full white, but that's me.
Yeah, here's the part. I wish that I like that this is gray. This part probably could have been white. Very basic, almost maybe too basic potentially. I don't know. What are your thoughts here? What are your initial thoughts?
I think it's a good looking shoe. For me personally, I rode with the Specialized shoe forever, and I found that the shoe was too narrow for my foot. I got a bony foot.
Wide. Yeah, me too.
So when I switched to DMT, all of that changed.
They got a wider
DMT.
footbed.
It's also, they have their signature knit. It's a firmer lower part of the shoe, but the upper is a knit, which you would think has maybe too much play in it, but those shoes are so freaking incredible. They're next level.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they've been a leader in the industry for years and years and years.
That is a big issue. I have too, the bony foot situation with like it protrudes out the side of most shoes and it like causes pain after like anything over like 30, 40 miles.
And let me tell you,
dying.
Remy is a diehard Specialized S-Works cycling shoe person. And once he tried DMTs, he's like, Never going back.
Once he did DMT,
Once he did DMT,
fully
did that
expanded
trip
his
through the
mind.
desert. Yeah, totally expanded. I'm gonna say hot on the Canyon shoe.
You're
Go
gonna
for
say
it.
hot. You're gonna say hot. I am. Yeah,
There's some-
I definitely could not say not. I would say it's if you're a canyon boy, which I am. I don't know if I'd go this canyon, even though I am like Mr. Canyon. There's so many great shoes out there. I'm gonna say it's still hot though. We're gonna give it a hot status.
We needed to throw one out there.
And
once in
okay,
a
so we're
while.
not going to go over the map. I'm just going to say we're a supporter of these new Canyon shoes. Let me show you. Hopefully, they have the helmet on here already.
Oh, I
this
hope
is
I
this
can
is
see
new.
the helmet.
This is new information. Clothing. Would you consider helmet clothing? Yes. I don't know. I'm struggling with a part of this helmet, and I want to talk to you about it.
Tell me.
Canyon Stinger.
Ooh.
Guys, I don't know. Here's the problem I have. This piece right here
Oh, it's very
is
stormtrooper.
rigid, and it goes like it like rotates around.
Tell me
like
what that
rigidity.
means.
So this top portion here, half
Yep.
of this before that little circle, it stays that way. Period. And the bottom part rotates around like a bucket, like a handle on a bucket.
Interesting.
And so the video I saw, it was like a guy putting it on his head, and then he just like rotated the bottom part around like that, and it goes under your chin.
No.
Yes,
It's not a strap.
it's a rigid strap with a boa on the bottom.
It's a Oh.
And for that reason, sharks, I'm out. I like. Here's the thing. I like the shell, and I think it could have been cool. The strap is something I'm not really on board with.
I would like to
think.
know the reason. So essentially, folks, what we're looking at is a hard plastic strap.
Yes.
Around your chin.
that rotates around this top part that stays rigid no matter what. There's like a frame that goes about down to your temple.
Okay, the high bar system's unique arms ensure that your helmet gets positioned correctly every time you wear it. Plus, the micro adjustable dial lets you find the perfect fit, which can be easily altered when riding. Securely fasten high bar under your chin with no more than one finger width space for proper retention and getting ready to go. It doesn't.
How many times have you adjusted your strap under your chin?
Interesting. I would.
Once when you bought it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and that was it.
Yeah.
I think that they created a problem that didn't exist.
Yeah. I would say the shape almost looks like the Utopia to me. It has kind of that arrow
It's a
shape
mixture
in the
between
back.
the Utopia and probably an S-Works helmet is what I'm going to say.
Sure. Also, that other one that is foreign, a lot of people were wearing, it also kind of looks like the Paz helmet that was from a few
Kind of got
years
some
ago.
sweet protection.
Yet not
vibes.
as many vent
Yeah.
openings as you would think, so you can slice through the air.
What's your? What, you going hot or not?
Oh, I'm going not. I don't like that chain strap thing.
2 knots. Okay, so we're here for the Canyon shoe. We are not here for the Stinger helmet. Okay, this is one of them. This is the more arrow one. Okay, let me show you the other one just so we can get. I know people are gonna be like, what about the other one? The other one I think is uglier and has the same issue. Kind of more of an entry. I don't know.
But
I
it's
don't even know.
$300
Still
at
$300.
entry level.
Mm.
Do we have a picture with it on? Oh, not a fan of the way that looks at all.
No,
No.
I'm gonna go big poo poo on that.
Yep.
I'm gonna go.
No.
Yeah, that's a bad helmet.
Real bad.
That's a bad helmet there.
It doesn't. I hate to say this, but it don't even look cool.
It don't look cool.
It looks like a cheap helmet.
Looks like a cheap crap helmet.
Yep.
So no, I'm gonna say
Doo-doo.
pass.
No. Sorry, Canyon.
Sunk.
Yep.
Kerplunk.
Yep.
Well, that's our hot or not for this week, guys. Hopefully that helps you in your journey. Do you ever wonder at the end of these episodes, has this done anything for me? I think, you know what? It's just
Has it gotten you through
when you go
a
to
traffic
meet,
jam?
Here's
Are you sitting
here's
in
how I
traffic?
sell our podcast. When you go to meet your buddy at the coffee shop or the bar, like, are you really taking that much away from it? No, it's just an enjoyment to sit down with people that have similar screws loose as you, you know, and you just get to soak in it a little bit. It's a
Marinate.
nice, you're not gaining much
You're
from
not
sitting
alone.
in the spa,
You're not alone.
but you're not alone. You're here with us and we're all getting by
Yep.
in some sort of way.
Yes.
Well, that's about our time today.
Well, on that note, really appreciate all of you.
Yeah, we do have some
We got some guests coming on
got some
next
killer
week.
guests. Yeah, so
We
next
got
week
another
we'll
one
have a
lined up
guest.
for you. It's super exciting.
Yeah, people are joining us. They are joining this cult to bring our word, our gospel
Yep.
to the world. And so we've got a few good guests. We've got some things going on behind the scenes with the show to bring the best quality content and conversation to you guys about bikes. And so we're working really hard here to make it as kick-ass as possible. And we hope you guys have a good rest of your week. We will catch you guys next week for another episode. And thanks for joining us today. Ciao.